The real badges were made out of gold or silver. Um, like if you look at the old time police departments and police officers, you'll notice that the old time police officers and police departments actually wore gold or silver badges. There was no fake metal. Sometime around 1940 or 1950, you have a whole bunch of counterfeit people running around with plated steel or plated silver, or plated brass or something like that. Cheap metal fakes, basically people running around pretending to be police officers, pretending to be sheriffs, and basically they're using. That's why. That's another reason why they say copper because they're not real police officers. They're people with copper badges or brass badges, and they're just shined up to look like they're actual real police officers, but they're not actually real police because real police use silver or gold badges. So, but I mean, you have so many police officers and so many people that eventually, I don't know, I mean, it gets into basically the big time where you need a lot of gold and a lot of silver for those badges. And eventually somebody decides that's actually cheaper for them to actually just put what's called put fake plated steel or fake plated this or brass or whatever, so it looks like it's gold, but it's not actually gold. Anyway, though, but the old tiny like if you go back to to the 1200 year era and 1700 era, you would find real gold and real silver badges, star badges. So anyway, and that's what we use. That's what the official government used was real silver, real gold. And sometime around 1930 or 1940, basically people were like, so that's a real gold or silver badge. It's like, yeah, but a real police officer. Anyway, a lot of the badges and a lot of the other stuff was handed down. That's why father, son, and other things would be police officers because they would just hand down the badge, because it would be real gold or real silver, and basically, very worth a fair amount, but more in just prestige than anything else to be have a real gold or a real silver badge, which were the real officers of the law and police officers. Anyway, later on we start using brass and silver badges and all that and copper or whatever, badges. And basically it's no longer what it used to mean. But anyway, whatever. I don't really care. But if you ever find a real 1800 or 1700 or 1900 police officers, and I think the government like took most of the badges and melted them down for coins or gold at some point in time and basically just killed it. Because it used to mean something. Like I said, a lot of people will be like, "Yeah, I'm a Civil War era guy, yeah," or they'll say, "Yeah, I got a uniform from my Civil War days or from my whatever days," and it's like you look at it and like it's coming apart. It's not a real Civil War era of uniform. Real Civil War medals were real metal, real gold, real silver, real everything. My officers had real silver bars. You see them on the German in the German movies. You see those bars right there on the side. Those are real silver bars, and they meant something. Two little bars, one on each side. They were real silver, and all the things. So you see a lot of collectors saying, yeah, I got a 1812 or 1700 thing, and it's like, well, it's got a stamp on the back that says 1812 or 1700, but it's coming apart and it's not real silver, real gold. It's like, well, if it really was Civil War or World War One, World War Two, it wouldn't be fucking coming apart, would it? Because it would be made by pure or mostly pure silver or pure gold, and most of those have been melted down. A lot of people sometime around 1912 or like 1930, 1940 basically started printing these cheap whatever things that look like they were real, but they're not real. And they're just plated and crap. But the real officers of the armies used real silver bars on one on each side, or the eagles were real gold or real silver. Everything was real. Anyway, sometime around 1940, 1950, they start using these cheap plated pieces of shit, basically. And it's like, I don't even know why they started doing that. It's like there's plenty of silver, there's plenty of gold, but they decided to be cheap about everything. So Anyway, but it's like with all the gold and all the silver that's around the world, I don't know why they're being cheap. There's tons of silver, there's tons of gold, but they decided to go cheap and melt down all the things or something like that. And you don't even get that much silver or gold out of them, really. I mean, it's just they're just small little trinkets basically, but they were real silver eagles and real gold eagles, and real silver stars and real gold stars. The stars and everything were real metal. Not this cheap fake stuff that they present nowadays. Like, oh yeah, I got a Civil War or a World War II era vest, and you look at it, it's plated, and it is 30. It is from the same time as the Civil War. I believe that, but it's not a real uniform. It's one of those fake uniforms, and there were a lot of them running around back then. So anyway, the real ones were made of real metal, but there's a lot of people pretending to be whatever. So. Anyway, and that happened sometime around 1940, 1950 or so, 1960. You see a lot of that crap. And realistically, it's not like hundreds of years old or even 50 years old. It's like, or 80, or like as old as the real wars. It's actually, only like 20 or 30 years old and coming apart because, anyway, whatever. Because they did it cheaply and quickly. So you'll notice that's the difference between the real military of the old days and what they present as the military. It's like, well, if it's real Civil War, if it's real World War II, if it's the real wars, then it's going to be solid silver and gold and real. It's not going to be plated. It'll have a purity of like 12 carats or 8 carat, a fair amount of carats or whatever, a fair amount of silver and real gold. So, and not plated. Like I said, nothing was plated. So, real military does not use plated anything. So, you see a lot of people, a lot of generals wandering around with the stars and stuff, and it's like plated. It's like, it's plated, isn't it? And you can actually tell the difference between plated steel and non-plated steel. So, kind of. If they do it right, then it can look pretty original for a time. And then, of course, just like the bumpers on the cars, they start coming apart. So, anyway, whatever. It's just a little bit of Civil War facts or old school military facts that they've covered up because there's a bunch of people that were running around trying to pretend to be military, but they really weren't. But trying to pretend to be police officers, trying to pretend to be Secret Service and all that, and undercover police officers. I'm an undercover police officer. No, you're not. That's why we have call verification and all that stuff. And that was me. Anyway, though, lots of people would do it. It doesn't really matter. They eventually usually went to jail. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. And it's just crazy and stupid. I mean, I'm the president of America and Germany and basically the creator of humanity and exoskeleton, endoskeletons, and all that other stuff. So. Anyway, and they very much wanted to kill me, so. And I've been trying to kill me the last 40 years, I believe. Or trying to get me to kill myself. But anyway, not doing it, sorry. So, anyway, yeah, well, whatever.